The iPhone 6 has been making waves across Yale's campus. Join us as we discuss what students like and dislike about the new phone, and what this means for developers on campus.
Plus, discover a Yale senior's idea for an interactive play where the actor steps off the stage and you step in.
Stay tuned for these stories and more. It's your Yale, your week, and your news.
Hello and welcome to YTV. I'm Stefina Yuli. To start, we'll go to Michael Leopold in the newsroom with this week's headlines.
Thanks, Steffi. Yale fans stormed the field of the Yale Bowl Saturday after the Bulldogs beat Army in overtime with a final score of 49-43. Highlights include running back Tyler Varga's 5 touchdowns, which secured the win for Yale. Division I football has 2 subdivisions, the Bowl subdivision, which Army belongs to, and the Championship subdivision, which is Yale's. This is the first time Yale has defeated a Bowl subdivision opponent since 1981. After serving customers for only 6 months, Pinkberry on Chapel Street stands vacant. Although Pinkberry management has not confirmed that the frozen yogurt shop is closed, several local store owners and New Haven residents speculated that the frozen yogurt shop has gone out of business. Thienson Nguyen, who manages Froyo World just down the street from Pinkberry, said that Pinkberry has been empty since at least Sunday. Pinkberry currently has 6 other locations in Connecticut. This week, students gathered at the School of Management to hear the first of former Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner's 3 lectures on the 2008 financial crisis. Geithner's lectures are part of the SOM's courses on the global financial crisis, which Geithner is co-teaching. In his first lecture, Geithner criticized financial regulators, including himself, for failing to recognize warning signs of the crisis brewing and properly dealing with it once it occurred. The second will concern the United States' response to the crisis, while the third will discuss responses to future crises. That's it for this week's headlines. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Michael. Almost a year ago this week, Yale's participation in the National Solar Decathlon was just the subject of a lunch conversation. Today, that idea has found support in the form of a new architecture class, giving Yale's inaugural team a step up on the competition. We go to Dan Chow and Pat Sullivan for more.
Started back in 2002, the Solar Decathlon is a biennial national competition that invites 20 collegiate teams from around the world to design, build, and operate solar-powered houses. The goal is to see which team can build the most attractive, cost-effective, and energy-efficient house. For Yale, the journey began only a year ago.
You know, from our beginnings when we started with 5 or 6 people, you think of it as, wow, this is, just our vision, and like we really care about it. We don't know if other people care about it.
While still run by the original 6, the team has benefited from a new class this year, being offered by the School of Architecture right behind me here at Rudolph Hall.
Although the class is a graduate-level course, it's being taken by many undergraduate members of the team, many of whom have been with the team since the very beginning.
Before, I think we had to meet these deadlines pretty quickly. As undergraduates, we didn't really know sort of the larger scope of what we should be doing. The class definitely puts it into a much larger context, puts it beyond just winning a competition, and makes it more about what are we trying to do besides just meet these deadlines.
With the expansion of the team into the graduate school, the Yale Solar Decathlon team has welcomed the additional manpower and expertise.
So beforehand we had our undergrads, and that was great. And we had some of our professionals, and that was great. But we didn't really have any of the grad students and like any of the stuff that they brought to the table. So that's why the class exists now, is so the grad students can become a part of the process.
The students recognize that there is a long way to go before Yale can match the caliber of more tech-centric schools. For now, they're focusing more on enjoying the learning experience and less on the competition.
We have a very heavy design team, so that will be one of our focuses. So you can sort of specify what you really want to improve on and like push for the competition.
So Ellington likes to say we're going to take this competition and use it as a sort of a vehicle to learn about these technologies and use it sort of as a very detailed case study of not only how we can build a house, but what we can learn about these technologies, what they mean.
The nice thing is that it's supposed to be kind of a learning experience. So especially for the undergraduates, you're not really expected to know or have like a great deal of technical skill. That's mostly where the grad students and the professionals come in. Our main point is to learn from them.
The next step is fundraising, and if all goes well, a trip to Irvine, California for the final leg of the competition. For YTV, this has been Dan Shao and Pat Sullivan.
Each year, the U.S. Department of Energy allocates $1 million across each of the 20 competing schools. Yale's fundraising goal is $750,000. We're excited to see how they'll fare in the competition.
Students have also been excited about something else this week, the iPhone 6. You've seen the crowds of people outside the Apple Store, but what are students' real thoughts on this new gadget? This week, we find out how Yaleys and student developers are reacting to Apple's new release. YTV reporters Rebecca Faust and Wayne Zhang bring us more.
2 days after releasing iOS 8, Apple's newest mobile operating system, the company released the hotly anticipated iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. Since their September 19th releases, Yale students and New Haven locals alike have flocked to the Apple Store on Broadway to buy the new devices.
I tried to get one today in the morning, but they ran out. There's a huge demand for new iPhones.
A few of my friends and I, we thought about it about 2 weeks before. We saw that we had an Apple Store in New Haven, and we got some blankets together, did a lot of our schoolwork, and then around 10 p.m. we went outside of the Apple Store about 200 feet away and camped out for the night.
Students say they appreciate the new features that the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus offer, such as higher camera resolution, increased screen size, and more processing power.
The camera is really good, like really amazing. You can see everything, even like the leaves and the trees. The biggest thing that people are raving about, I think, is how great the pictures are.
Mobile developers on campus believe that iOS 8 is an improvement over iOS 7, the previous version of iPhone software.
They introduced a few new features, but I think the most interesting of which are just like kind of completed their iCloud environment, so there's a more complete integration between your laptop and your phone.
Despite these positive changes, the transition to iOS 8 may require mobile developers to change the apps they created in the past to integrate them into the new software.
So the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus have larger screen sizes, so we adjusted some of the constraints in iOS development called layout constraints, so that everything is not crammed onto one side of the screen, so it will look beautiful on the new iPhone also.
Students also have opinions about the sizes of the new phones.
I got the iPhone 6 regular, not the iPhone 6 Plus, and I think that the size of the iPhone 6 regular is pretty usable. Like, it's a good size and everything.
The iPhone 6 Plus was way too big for me. I held it in the store, and it's like basically the size of an iPad mini.
Other manufacturers started making bigger phones, so Apple needed to adjust with their size.
Regardless of opinion, all you have to do is look at the lines outside the Apple Store to realize that one thing is for certain. iOS 8 and the iPhone 6 have made a big splash in New Haven. For YTV, this has been Wayne Zhang and Rebecca Faust.
Students are looking forward to the release of yet another Apple device, the iWatch, in early 2015.
This past week also marked the debut of Liminal, an exciting piece of audience participation theater created by Yale senior Nathaniel Dolquist. The ritual-based production seeks to engage the audience beyond mere spectatorship, creating an experience like Yale's never seen before. We go to Nora Etienne and Celine Tien for more.
No stage, no seats, no guarantees. In Liminal, an original student play, the boundary between audience and actor disappears. Mystery and secrecy surrounds this piece of performance art, and the element of surprise is key. Fewer than 16 audience members are allowed in each show, leaving many curious for a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Without giving too much away, because it's important that the people who go into the experience don't know what's going to happen to them.
It's a piece that's focused on the audience, but you couldn't even call it an audience because it's all participants. It's focused on the people who come every night.
With a strong emphasis on the audience's personal experience, Liminal strives to lead each participant through a distinct journey. This is all made possible through 6 ritual guides, actors trained to assist and lead each audience member through the production.
People who come, we try and take them on a journey, all of us together, and that just means being there every step of the way.
They walk around through various parts, and undergo a ritual experience that has trials in it. It has some parts that are very difficult, and then some very intimate moments with other people.
It brings the audience and the guides together in this interactive journey.
As Liminal is a pioneer for interactive theater at Yale, there have been technical and creative challenges members of the production have had to work through.
It's definitely difficult to take on this role. It's hefty, and because we all take it so seriously, it takes a toll, but it's so worth it.
Because Liminal is such a unique piece, the Yale Theater Studies Department questioned how Liminal fits into the definition and realm of theater and performance.
It's theater in that it's an event that is trying to take a closer look at the human experience and trying to get people to engage with themselves and with the lives of other people.
I also think that the line between ritual and theater is not always as distinct as we make it, and I think that what makes this so theatrical is the fact that it's an exchange between us and the audience.
What began as one Yale senior project has manifested into an innovative exploration of theatrical audience participation. For YTV, this has been Nora Etienne and Celine Tien.
Tickets for Liminal are currently sold out, but waitlist spots remain available on the Yale Drama Coalition website.
And as always, we conclude our segment with Everybody Has a Story. This week, Cody Pomeranz sat down with Michael Forsyth, former Bloomberg editor and current New York Times reporter. This week, we get his thoughts on Chinese politics and the current political movement in Hong Kong. Here are a few highlights from that interview.
Hi, welcome to YTV in this week's segment of Everybody Has a Story. Michael Forsyth is a journalist for the New York Times based in Hong Kong, and he joins us today. Mike, thanks for being here.
Good to be here.
So there's quite a lot going on in Hong Kong right now with the democracy protests and Occupy Central. How strong do you think this movement is? This is tons of students flooding the streets of Hong Kong right now.
It really caught me by surprise. When I left about 4 or 5 days ago, it was a pretty small movement. I didn't think it would catch on this quickly, but I think the police actions, quick to use tear gas, quick to use pepper spray, infuriated a lot of people. But I'm still quite amazed at the scale of it. This is a really big deal in Hong Kong history, but also in Chinese history as well. It's quite interesting to see what the reaction of the central government in Beijing will be about this.
And the last one, if someone could play you in a Woodward Bernstein style journalistic thriller, who would you have play you in the movie?
That's a no-brainer. Matt Damon, definitely.
Michael Forsyth, thanks so much for joining us. And as always, thank you for joining us for YTV. I'm Cody Pomeranz, and this has been Everybody Has a Story. See you next time.
To see the full interview, visit the YTV website under the features page.
Thanks for joining us on our very first broadcast. We'll see you next Friday at 3 p.m.
For now, reporter Nicole Daly brings you the best highlights from last week's Yale Army game.
Thanks for joining us here at YTV. It's your Yale, your week, and your news.
Here with Yale TV at the 100th anniversary of the Yale Bowl, an historic game against Army. There's so much excitement here in the stadium today as football lineage, academic tradition, and patriotism come together.